So I'm Sam Sheridan. I'm Group Commercial Director at Edyn. We have 4,000, just over 4,500 keys operating now. We have about 2,000 in development. We operate three brands: Lock, which is our design-led service department hotel brand, or a part hotel brand. We have Cove, which is our service department brand, and we also have Seiko Service Departments, which is the original sort of service department brand that we've been operating for over 20 years. Yeah, so I think with Lock especially, as we've sort of expanded into Europe since 2016, since our first Lock, we've really been able to start to develop different types of buildings in terms of conversions, new builds, refurbs. In terms of the room mix and the size of units that we are able to operate at an attractive length of stay and with a wide demographic, we're seeing the room sizes actually being a bit smaller than maybe historically they were, which allows us to start to go into those conversions or to go into those maybe different buildings like offices as well. So we've got quite an array of different types of conversions and developments that we've been able to secure, which has helped our expansion over the last sort of 5-6 years, with Lock especially. With Cove, the Cove brand being more of a service department brand, we do require sort of larger units, 1 beds and 2 beds. But again, we've seen some interesting opportunities with Cove Pinnacle and Canary Wharf. That's a large mixed-use kind of development, part of a larger scheme, and we were able to take a section of that alongside some other use classes within the building. So there's still opportunity even on the sort of larger floor plate that you might need for a service department as well. Yeah, I mean, on the consumer side, or the sort of the guests side, I guess, in terms of who's staying with us, the demographics changed enormously even in the sort of 6 years, 7 years that I've been involved in this sector. We're seeing a move and a shift from business travel into requiring more autonomy, wanting more facilities, including kitchens, the ability to do their own cooking, their own washing. We've also started to see families, obviously for obvious reasons, and international travel. The Asia market's been obviously it's somewhat depressed at the moment post-COVID, but that was a very buoyant and still is quite an important mix for us. I think in the US and Asia, the sort of studio living is just a bit more. They're more familiar with that type of offering, and we're sort of catching up here in the UK and Ireland and in Europe. But where we do operate, we are starting to see our trading sort of outperform hotels now, and that is definitely due to this shift in the consumer and what the consumer wants. We actually conducted a white paper, which we will be sharing some details on our website in the near future, which sort of also shares the data that Gen Z are travelling for longer. They're travelling less frequently, but for these longer stays, they're combining leisure with business. They're having family come staying in places for also a month at a time, experiencing new ways and new cities and different sort of experiences all over Europe. So the shift is quite seismic, I think, and post-COVID it's only been accelerated in my view. I absolutely love the networking, obviously, as most people probably have said. So I think it's a great opportunity to sort of brainstorm some of the ideas and sort of where we think the industry is going. I think now, as I've said, that it's one of the most exciting times for our sector, from the sort of guest side and even from the investment side. There's quite a lot of interest, quite a lot of noise around this because of our resilience through COVID, and our sort of wider demographic now, attracting multiple segments from different areas, and that sort of de-risks it as an opportunity for investors. So to be able to have these discussions about where we believe the sector is going to go, what we think the consumer wants, what other people are doing. I find it very interesting to hear about some of the pet policies. We have our own pet policy, which was quite a difficult thing to put together, but it's true. You know, people want to travel with their pets. They want to travel with their family. It's really changed what people want from their travel requirements when they're traveling for business or leisure. So it's critical to have these these sort of conversations with people are in this sector, because it's still quite new, and unless we sort of think quite big and bold about where we want it to be in sort of 3, 5, 10 years time, we probably won't be able to get there. So there's quite a lot still to be done. There's quite a lot of opportunity still out there, and working together to put our sector on the map is kind of, I guess, is the goal. So I absolutely love attending this, because it gives us an opportunity to really network and chat about where it's going and the different ideas we have. I think actually the sort of listening to some of the added services that service departments or co-living or sort of that lodgings are now looking at was really interesting. So the co-working now needing a little bit more than just shared long tables and desks, and needing probably booths where you can make phone calls, or private areas where you can have business face-to-face Teams calls, which has become everyone's daily routine now. The pet thing, dog washing facilities and stuff, that was fascinating, because the service department, or part hotel, or co-working, or co-living, and they're all to satisfy change in consumer demand. And so those sort of ideas, seeing them sort of being presented, had really sparked something for me, and hopefully I can take some ideas back to the business and can maybe enact them as well. So.